Hey everyone, Jim Phoenix here. Today on Streamin Demons we have Tourist Trap as the old, False Positive as the new, and for the borrowed, Conjuring 3, the devil made me do it. Hey everyone, Jim Phoenix here. Hope you're doing well because you know I am. Today on another exciting episode of Streamin Demons with my forever co-host, Voodoo Priestess. Say hello.
Hello, I am a co-host.
Woohoo! And our super special, very LTD, I think that's the initialism that we use for that series, guest, Kristen Cleaves. Say hi.
Hello, thanks for having me.
All right. And remember, if you're new to Streamin Demons, you can't remember anything. That's not a running joke. That's just my memory. But if you're new to Streamin Demons, we do one new, one old, and one borrowed, which can be a rental, something brand new in the theaters, something rented from Voodoo Priestess's now defunct video store down the street on Betamax.
I am so sad about that, so don't make fun of that. Why can't that fucker just drive around the block?
We're not editing that out. That fucker is none other than Danny Elfman. Yeah, you heard it here first. Danny, so sorry, man. Love your conducting and your music, but stop driving that motorbike, bro.
Wow, what a brush with fame.
Right? It's okay. Maybe, hey, Voodoo, why don't you pretend like as an old woman? Just do like a hit and run. And then, did you back up with the girl after that? I can't remember.
It wasn't me. It was a little old lady who hit some other random shit.
Yeah. We heard it all. So anyways, I'm not sure if you're a repeat listener, but Kristen, we have to watch ourselves around Voodoo Priestess because they have allegedly admitted to, I believe an old lady was involved, and Voodoo's like, I didn't stop because there's an old lady. Like, why bring the pain twice? And then kept going.
Oh my goodness.
Explain that was illegal. And if we think that was I think we just witnessed a felony somewhere. But that's fine. That's fine. We're still cleansing the soul.
She got up, okay? She got
up eventually. Oh, good. I'm glad you stopped and waited for her to get up before you.
Well, I mean, it was a red light.
Driving?
So.
And the worst thing is, like, it was that lady's fault anyway. It's like, yeah, of course it was the old lady's fault.
This got intense really quick.
Wait until it gets like this way. It's okay. I still okay.
You almost
I almost got the heart thing. Oh man, I'm working. I've been working on this for like months too. Oh well. All right. So as I am a very lazy bear, always let our guests go first. What do you have for us?
All right. Well, thank you for inviting me. And I wanted to talk about the movie False Positive that just premiered on Hulu.
Hulu?
And Hulu, Uh-oh. That's right.
You mother.
I had to get the free trial and everything.
Ooh. They won't allow us.
So,
is Hulu good? Because they won't allow us to watch Hulu in Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things, typically I have not found tons of stuff that I wanted on there, but occasionally you'll get one or two things here or there. But I guess it just depends, what you're into.
Well,
but
False Positive.
I wouldn't say it's a must-have for me.
But you know what? It's good enough for your free trial.
That's right.
To make False Positive. So what is False Positive?
So this is a new horror movie from A24 Studio, which has made some great movies, I think, and starring Ilana Glazer, who played Ilana on Broad City, if you're a fan of that show. And
I love that show. Wait, who's on this?
Ilana Glazer is in False Positive. Yeah. I love that show too. So I was really excited to see this. Justin Theroux is in it, and Pierce Brosnan is also in it. So
Canada? Justin Theroux. Oh, that's Justin Trudeau. Never mind. My bad.
For a minute, you had me pause. I was like, did I say it wrong? Wait, is it the other guy?
They're both in like acting school, so yeah.
No, okay, yes, you're right. The one that was married to Jennifer Aniston is in False Positive. But anyway, I was really intrigued when I first saw the trailer of this movie because, and I certainly don't think this is giving anything away because right away you're definitely getting Rosemary's Baby vibes.
I was out of town when that happened. You cannot prove your honor. The baby was not mine. I went to Doctor's Phil. Oprah, and Howard Shemp. No,
Did you go to Maury? I mean, that's how you really know.
I went to Jerry Springer.
Okay.
Maury and Jerry Springer fought for me. I was neither baby daddy.
So this is the story of Ilana Glazer plays Lucy Martin, who is married to Justin Theroux's character, whose name is Adrian, which will maybe make you immediately think of Rosemary's Baby. And they are trying to conceive, trying to get pregnant. She has had some trouble in the past, so Adrian suggests that they go see an old friend of his who owns a fertility clinic. So, she's not sure at first, but then they decide, let's give it a try. So they go to the fertility clinic and she soon gets pregnant and then, starts to realize, maybe she's gotten herself into something that she doesn't really want to be a part of. And
psychology?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
Yes. So
Sorry,
it's very interesting because the way that, for me, something that I thought was interesting was the way that this movie almost, it has the main character a lot of the time, and I won't give spoilers, but, a lot of times kind of second guessing herself, like, well, yeah, this guy might be a little weird, but yeah, I want a baby, so I'm going to go along with it. Or, these people aren't really, at one point, she starts to hang out with some other pregnant women and like some other friends that her husband kind of introduces her to. And it's like, well, these aren't really my friends, but, I'll go along with it. And, maybe I can get used to it. And she's like, kind of, as she goes throughout the movie, she's kind of getting more talked into things that she doesn't want, but yet, in society, we're taught to feel like we should want all these things. And, why wouldn't you want, the fanciest doctor or, the most beautiful baby shower, these glamorous gifts and
kids, bro.
What's that?
Oh,
I don't give a fuck about kids.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, we have a kid hater on our show.
Well, I guess and understandable. So I guess what I'm saying is, if that's something that is a goal, like it was for Lucy in this movie, she is kind of like ignoring the red flags here and there, saying, maybe this isn't a great idea because everybody in her life is kind of pushing her to go along with it. And, things start to, and I believe this is in the trailer as well, but, she starts to think some things are looking a little suspicious. And, she has her friends saying stuff to her like, oh, that's just baby brain, or that's just mommy brain, like telling her,
that's just demon brain.
Right, exactly. Just telling her like, no, this is you. It's, you're imagining things. And there's like, a lot of the gaslighting vibe and everything going on.
Oh, wow.
So, it's definitely got some more of that Rosemary's Baby idea of like, nobody believes you. And, what's happening, what's not actually happening, what's reality, what's not reality. So I think the suspense was very good. I think it brings up a lot of issues about, how women's autonomy or women's, reproductive choices are influenced or controlled, or, the way that there's always kind of like a back and forth of like who's really in control, or are you allowed to make these decisions for yourself. I mean, there's a lot of dynamic going on with some of these different issues, but it's really interesting. I feel like, again, don't want to give any spoilers, I feel like the action, the third act falls apart maybe a little bit, and maybe some things are. What's that?
What things are where?
Okay, I'm trying not to
spoiler entire things for people. I appreciate that. Voodoo might not, but I appreciate it.
Let's just say there's kind of like, there's kind of like a confrontation at the end, maybe, that I think is, maybe not as, it kind of went in a different direction where there had been a lot of subtlety building in the beginning of the movie, and things were like, a little more sinister and a little more suspense. And I feel like it got a little crazy at the end, like it kind of lost that tension or that more believable aspect to it. And it kind of shifted a little bit more to the surreal, but that was it was an interesting choice too, the way that happened. So I think people can, make their own decisions if they felt that it was effective. And, it's definitely one of those endings that's open to interpretation. And, whether did everything actually happen the way it was shown? Was it symbolic? How much, is in Lucy's mind? How much of it is in, happening in reality or whatever? And so, I mean, it definitely gives you a lot to think about, I think, and a lot to consider. I don't know that I would say the execution was 100%, but it was definitely worth watching, I think. And I thought Lana Glazer's performance was really good.
Great. And that's all. A good performance can carry something for a long time, too.
Yeah.
Real quick question about the ending.
So
you said that before, like a lot of the movie, it felt like she was kind of being gaslit and stuff. So having like such an indefinite, like, you can figure out this ending yourself, is that like
gaslighting even more?
Yeah, is it like a satisfying
gaslight the audience
at all, or just fucking us all over?
No, I do think you're right. I think that was maybe a deliberate choice that leaves you wondering, because there are like a few things that are shown throughout, like, well, maybe she is an unreliable narrator. Maybe this isn't as black and white as we thought. Because, in Rosemary's Baby, Rosemary is having the devil's baby. Like, that's what happened.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it at all.
Right. There's no doubt about it. That went down. And so you definitely, like, Rosemary is a reliable, narrator. And in False Positive, there's a lot more ambiguity. Although, you definitely know that, okay, like, this guy is a bad dude, but like, what all for sure has he done, and what all, is maybe she, been confused about or whatever. So yeah, and I do think there are people that, when I was looking up a little bit about this movie afterward, people who were not satisfied with the ending are like, what is that? Or,
I could have done a better ending. Well, maybe that's the whole story. Maybe that's the purpose of the story. It's like, well, it's up to what would Bowie say? Nothing, because he's in Mars right now. No.
Rest in peace.
Right. Bowie has said before, like art gets reinterpreted. What the artist makes is not the same as what the viewer sees, and even later on in artist's life, it's not the same thing anymore. Like, it's reinterpretation of it, and maybe that's what this movie's going. I'm being very nice to the movie right now. Maybe that's what the movie's going for. It's like the reinterpretation of, and allowing each person get their own spiel in.
I think that's a really good point. And for me personally, like, I am really okay with ambiguity in a film or in a book, or, I really kind of like to sit with that feeling of, what does that represent, or what do you think, so to me, that didn't bother me as much as some of the, like I said, like I felt like the suspense kind of dwindled away a little bit at the end, but the ambiguity didn't bother me personally. But I can see, I think it just depends on the viewer. Like, I think some people might be yelling at the screen, like, what? But some other people might really be into it. I thought it was good. So, but yeah, that's a good point.
How many Cthulhus out of 5? How many Cthulhus?
I'm going to go with 3.5 Cthulhus.
3.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's steep. On Hulu, 3.5. Okay. And okay, got it. Yeah, you know what I'm gonna say. I'm not following that. So, Voodoo Priestess, you have the old.
I do have the old, and I got something from a nearby century.
Yeah, for those who are just tuning in, Voodoo's old usually includes pre-war, and not exactly the war you're thinking of.
Not always.
Like your great-grandfather's war.
I like old. I just watched Nosferatu the other day.
Oh, that's a new movie from Voodoo.
No, I've seen that.
Yeah.
I mean, like a newer movie than most of the movies you pick.
That's a lie. Don't listen to him. He lies a lot. Anywho, I got a Tourist Trap.
Tourist Trap? Was that Schmoller?
Yes.
My God, David Schmoller. Hey, David.
What year was Tourist Trap, anyway? But it was a good movie about... were they supposed to be teens? They might have been teens. There are people who were going to places, and they came across a thing because a tire blew, and then stuff happened with creepy mannequins.
You could be a little more exact than this in the synopsis.
Wow.
Did you watch this movie?
I did. I think I did. It was done in 1979, so I was looking that up. But yeah,
79.
People show up at this weird ass place that's filled with mannequins. It's kind of like
Macy's. No. Okay.
Like, I always just think of the wax museums, like with Vincent Price, where it has all these nice little recreation wax thingies. Where are you holding your hand like that?
That's my wax museum pose. No?
Okay. I'll just ignore you now. Anyway, so yeah, they're in a museum, and mannequin shenanigans happen, and a lot of people die.
That's a good name for a band.
I was gonna say that you said my band's name in high school.
Sorry.
No.
That's always your band's name in high school.
That's I know. We had a lot of bands. Just one band, just different names, or just different bands. Names, like very big high school. So people blew a flat tire, and the guy was like rolling the tire like a little kid, and then like mannequins were going chippity chop chops, and then everyone else looked for them, and now they're like the mannequin spooky place with Chuck Connors. Am I correct? The Rifleman.
Sure.
All right.
I don't know these words you speak of, like Chuck Connors or spooky.
You don't know Chuck Connors? The
I'm
Rifleman.
guessing he's an actor.
Oh my.
By your face. Jeez, this took a dark turn.
Oh my
God. Anywho.
American Treasure. Yeah.
Sure, dude. Anywho, I think the movie's pretty creepy at times. Sometimes it makes no freaking sense, and you're like, I wonder why they decided to do that. Mostly the characters, because characters are stupid. Like
horror. Is it horror logic where the characters are like, yeah, let's go out one by one?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. They got a lot of that. They have some pretty cool effects, and well, do they actually have just creepy mannequin effect things, pretty much.
But you know what? To make it go, I think they're really creepy effects, and then for you to realize it wasn't all that intricate for an effect, is an effect in itself. It's how to stretch that budget out, and you don't need this like big blowing up things and CGI. You can do it with mannequins.
Yeah.
You can make it creepy with just mannequins.
And I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Like all the fucking creepy little mannequin things. I could just.
Oh no, I know. There's parts that I can't describe, but it's the I was creeped out by the mannequins. So I seen this movie before too. And you're right. They set it up. The music's really good. The music sets the tone a lot in this movie. So you have this thing, without spoiling the ending. Is it representative of the horror movies from that era? Meaning, you almost get the formula from Scream. You know, you've got this guy, the little archetype people, and they die in this order because of that, and we have the final show off.
I guess kind of. Yeah. I think for the most part, the characters were more likable than most characters I see in some of these movies. So
yeah, much more likable than Sledgehammer.
Oh yeah, fucking Sledgehammer.
Even that guy riding that dirt bike is more likable than that movie.
Allegedly, you don't know him. For all you know, he's a drug dealer, ice cream man.
Yeah, so allegedly I wouldn't know him. Why would I need ice cream? Okay. So David Schmoller, and then we have a kind of cool cast, a creepy thing, and all this together with Chuck Connor. What would you give it Cthulhu-wise?
Oh, you know me and my rating system.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
Yeah.
David, I apologize in advance. I do not tell my staff what to rate. They have their own minds. I know I love your films. You know I love your films. Voodoo Priestess, what is it?
4 Cthulhus.
Oh my God! 4!
Wow.
I liked the movie. I told you it was creepy. The only bad thing was like horror movie logic that people took.
Yeah, and I absolutely, and I think the horror movie logic became horror movie logic during that era of movie making. That's when those horror movie logic or dislogics all happen. You know, Chainsaw happens, Strangers, Tourist Trap. They all have those very poor decision making trees. You know, what was that one where the guy had like a gun and like a butter knife? The guy's like, I'm gonna go for the butter knife. Like, no, dude, the gun. Go for the gun. Have 6, man. Not in that movie. It was it's about 4. Damn. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Pressure's on. I had the rental, which I kind of bent time and space to sort of rent this one. I saw The Conjuring 3, The Devil Made Me Do It. Ooh. It is a sequel, pico, trico. It is part of the Conjuring universe.
You did it.
Thank you. And Voodoo's just happy I remember the movie I watched.
That's true.
When did I watch?
Last time.
When was that? The one with the witches, you know. Yeah. No. So we have not an Annabelle sequel, not a Nun sequel, but the actual Conjuring Prime Universe sequel. It is, let's say, still well produced. If you like the first Conjuring, second Conjuring, if you like the Annabelle stuff, you like the Nun, well, can't help you. But yeah, but we can't say they weren't well produced. We can't say they weren't slick. It's like a Blumhouse movie, right? You can't say Blumhouse puts out really poorly produced material. You can't. You can say it wasn't greatly done, meaning the final product wasn't awesome for you, but my God, it shines, you know? And a lot of Blumhouse for me is awesome. But Conjuring, from the IMDb, a chilling story of terror, murder, and unknown evil that shocked and experienced real-life paranormal investigators Ed and Lorraine Warren. one of the most sensational cases from their files. It starts with a fight for the soul of a young boy that takes beyond anything that ever seen before to mark the first time in U.S. history that a murder suspect would claim demonic possession as a defense. My gosh. Demonic possession as a defense. Well,
that's a good hook.
Yeah, right? It's basically temporary insanity, but for other religious reasons, which you cannot neither prove nor disprove, so you just kind of have to like flip a coin sometimes. Now, I like the setup. I like the premise. It has way too many stories in the story. The story has like 12 freaking stories, man. It's like if you were scripting this down as a note, like you would get A story, B story, C story, D story, and that's ACDC. That's only a band. You should only do that. But for my God, they could have concentrated on maybe 1 or 2 stories. Because we don't really Conjuring universe, if you hear me, we don't care that Ed has a heart attack. We don't care in the movie. We don't care really in real life, probably.
We're kind of assholes. We
are kind of a-holes. Okay? It's like, you don't spend like the first act, like, oh, we must spend look, that's not even a spoiler. That's like the first act. Like an extended storyline. That doesn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
It didn't move anything. It didn't really matter. You know? You can't keep teasing this. You've been teasing that since the first Conjuring. Guys, come on. You can't keep teasing Chekhov's gun. You got to blow the head off once in a while, you know?
That's what she said.
Boy, on my eyes. And 2, there's a lot of cool stuff, but there's some suspension of disbelief you need to do to make this a better movie. And sometimes I'm like, oh, I can buy a little bit, but really? And I can't, because this is a lot of third act stuff, so I can't really say what it is. But it made you want to really need to suspending disbelief in a movie that's built upon suspending disbelief. So, oh, man. Now, is it scary? Yeah, it's still scary. Does it tell a good story? For the most part, yeah. It still tells a good story. It also tells 3 other poor stories. That's the problem with the movie, as we go back and around. Maybe 2.5 stories could go. But acting, top notch. Top notch acting. Even the little kid pulls it off. And that's really hard. Like, kids and animals never use, right? And this little kid is a champ. Ed and Lorraine Warren, always pleasure in their roles of Ed and Lorraine Warren, I should say, because both of them are quite dead. You know, so we have the Patrick Wilson and we got Vera Farmiga. And I'm murdering names, I know this, but perfect casting. Is their charisma that pulls off the characters. It's not quite the writing. It's their charisma that pulls this off. It's not really the story that sucks you in. It's this. Now, with all that said, I'm glad I saw this opening night or opening weekend, I believe. I think it was money worth spent, even from the comfort of my own home, which I loved. And, you know, I had a viewing partner, which was kind of cool too. So it was that aspect of it. It was not, maybe I won't get the Blu-ray, you know, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to, no. And I bought the Blu-ray for Conjuring because that scared the crap out of people. It's not that same rah, but it's damn good. So for Cthulhu's, oh boy, man, this is a toughie. Because I have box in my head going, you're a softie, Jim. You give out Cthulhu's like Tic Tacs. I'm like, no, I don't. I really don't. 3.8. 3.8. I think I just did the average of yours in my mind, in my head. But a 3.8 out of 5 Cthulhu's. It's good enough to rent, okay enough to buy once. If you're a Conjuring fan, you'll love it. If you're a horror fan, why not? It's slick. It's done. Damn it. We just got out of a pandemic. What else do you want? Like, you got 4 movies to pick from the last 2 years. Okay.
Just saying, I would have wanted the story about the Crooked Man, but whatever.
Of Conjuring 2?
Yes.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Right? There's such a rich universe here. You can just pick stuff and make its own little things. Take your time. Don't rush them. We all love it. I'll be back for Conjuring 4. You know it. So will you all. So, with that being said, plugs. And we always let our guests go first. Kristen, what do you want to plug?
Well, anybody can check out my Lighter Than Dark articles, satire on the site.
But satire? Oh, shit. I thought it was news.
It basically is anymore. Yeah, same thing.
Sadly, I know.
The news is just scary enough. Writes itself. And I actually am included in a new anthology that has come out from Quill and Crow Publishing House that's called Ravens and Roses.
I bought that. I got it.
Thank you.
Kindle. Yeah, I it's on my because it's a Kindle preload. It's on my next book list. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. Yeah, it's Ravens and Roses, a women's gothic anthology. My story is called Daughter of Salt and Sea. And speaking of Cthulhu's, no spoilers, just saying. And there's some awesome stories. It's an awesome group of women writers, very diverse. And I suggest, people check it out because it's pretty cool.
What's it called again?
Ravens and Roses. It's a women's gothic anthology, and that's from Quill and Crow Publishing House.
I tell you what, anyone listening to this podcast, the very first person to DM me my age, just kidding, because Evie thinks it's 85. It's not, spoiler. But if you want this anthology, you have to DM, tweet me, whatever, emails, send some smoke signals, whatever, however the hell you want to communicate with Canada. Do it. I will buy one Kindle edition to the first person that does it. Okay, so if you hear the sound of my voice, you too can read a book.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Thank you. I think people are going to like it. I think it's a good one.
It sounds fantastic.
You don't think you know.
Yeah, I know. Because I've read and the women in here are really cool. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Anytime. And that goes back to Voodoo Priestess. What do you want to plug?
Well, fuck you.
Wow.
I was not planning on this. I don't know why.
We only do it every damn episode. I know, it's a surprise question every episode.
It's true.
You have nothing around your house that you can pick up.
I do, but I don't want you to see it.
Wow. Okay. Tell you what. Why don't you plug Bloody Mary? No. Why don't you plug the Bloody Mary podcast Spawn that you're going to have? That's all Japanese-y.
Oh, yeah. So originally we were doing a bunch of Bloody Mary. Me and another co-host of mine were doing a bunch of Bloody Mary things. And it just kind of spiraled out from the Bloody Marys, and it's a bunch of anime stuff. So we're kind of doing a seasonal podcast thing now.
Yeah.
That's kind of offshoot from Bloody Marys, where this season we're talking about a lot of awesome anime.
I have listened to them. I loved them. I knew from the very first listen this wasn't a Bloody Mary podcast. I'm like, I love this one. Oh, that's how I mean.
Yeah, because you got two of the Bloody Mary people here, you bitch.
Yeah, I was an OG Bloody Mary back in.
Well, like I was saying, I really love. No, I really do love Bloody Marys, and I love the podcast that Voodoo was talking about. But I knew it wasn't a Bloody Mary because it was just her and one other person, like the Bloody Mary madness of like 12 people, and got the carousel of like Carnival of Horrors. And I'm just like reading off your wall. Well, I love it. I can't wait to have them released. I'm very excited for this podcast set.
What's it called? Did you say the name?
Yeah, we said it. We're still looking for a name.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Thanks for
if you have a name idea, send them to Evangeline.
Yeah. I just try to help out.
No, you're helping. If anyone has a name idea they want to give us, send it to us with the hashtag fuck you, Jim.
Get that trending.
Yeah.
Who was like, remember the one time we did a vote like for Throwdown to see who would win?
Oh yeah.
And yours was like evil one.
Yeah.
For the vote, and Trump's hashtag was evil one for that week, and that trended.
That's how I won.
You won in the last time. I'm like, wow, 3 million people voted for Evie. Like, why don't we have that many listeners, do we? Like, oh well. All right, for myself, I am going to plug Blue Blood, Amelia G and Forrest Black. Blue Blood is an adult site, kiddies, so get your parents' permission. Oh wait, don't. That's kind of weird, huh? I guess do whatever's legal. I don't know. I'm not going to give legality to this, but it is an adult site. It's got razor candy, not the type for trick or treating. But there's a bunch of other cool stuff. Blueblood.com. That's my plug for Amelia G and Forrest Black. And for that, on behalf of myself, Jim Phoenix, and my ghost co-hostess of the mostest, Voodoo Priestess, and our very special guest, Kristen Cleaves, I like to say bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
I hear a cat.